come to meet a supernatural detective and be set free from a curse that has been placed upon you. Welcome. I am Supernatural Detective, and I have asked you to come here because you are not well. You have had a curse placed upon you, and I am here to set you free from it, to lift it from you so that you can be well again. It's important for us to feel well, isn't it? It's important for us to feel good, isn't it? To feel cared for. To feel protected and to feel safe. It's important, isn't it? What does a supernatural detective do? Well, investigate things that are widely unknown. So, extraterrestrials is probably about 80% of what we do. But we also investigate cryptids, extrasensory perception, ghosts and poltergeists, alternate or extra dimensions and parallel universes. What are cryptids? You're a curious one, aren't you? A cryptid is an animal or a being of some kind that is not yet proven to exist. For example, Bigfoot is considered to be one of the most famous cryptids, along with the Loch Ness Monster, and also a slightly lesser known example would be the Dogman. What is a Dogman? Well, aren't you full of questions today? A Dogman is, well, there are many theories, but personally, in my opinion, I would say a Dogman is a type of evolved wolf. A bit like, you know how Bigfoot is believed by some to be part ape and part man, kind of in between. If you think about it, a Dogman, in my opinion, is kind of like the wolf version of Bigfoot. So an evolved type of wolf, much stronger and smarter and faster, able to stand on two legs, with reports of some being 10 feet tall, but others around 6 feet. And essentially, they have been spotted around America and other countries eyewitnesses who say they were utterly terrified by what they saw. Understandably. Now, it doesn't appear that there have been anywhere near as many sightings of dogmen as there have of Bigfoot. But, well, I think that it is at least a possibility, considering the vast amount of various different species that have been and gone throughout the Earth's history. There used to be giant insects a long time ago. That is something that we would find to be fantastical these days, but they used to exist. So I keep an open mind, even though I'm not going to tell you whether I've seen one. Other examples of cryptids would be a giant spider said to roam the jungles of the Congo. It is believed that these giant spiders exist by forming webs around tree trunks and ensnaring their victims. A couple a long time ago recalled seeing one run across the road in front of them when driving through the Congo. It's my job to work out whether or not these things are real. I'm not going to tell you if they are. Do not want to worry your mind any more than it already has been. There are also believed to be sightings of dinosaurs in various different jungles. Again, this is not impossible, although highly improbable. It is not impossible. We know that all species were not wiped out during the extinction event of the dinosaurs. Is it possible that a species survived from the time of the dinosaurs? Yes, it's possible, I think. But again, I'm not going to tell you, I'm afraid. We are a very clandestine organisation. It's better that way. Other examples include the Jersey Devil, a creature said to roam the forests in that area, or the Mothman, flying beast, the glowing red eyes. There have even been reports of real-life vampires. But again, I'm not going to tell you. Just keep an open mind. I am confident, though, that the Dogman is not a werewolf of sorts. By which I mean I do not believe that they were once human and have transformed. Instead, I believe that they are an evolved type of wolf, a species that we simply have yet to have officially acknowledged. So, I am healing you as I am talking to you. I am drawing out this dark as I'm talking to you. I just want you to relax as this happens. You do not have to do anything. You do not have to think anything. Just relax and be relaxed. What is ESP? That stands for extrasensory perception. For example, telekinesis, telepathy, pyrokinesis, clairvoyance, precognition. Now, whilst I'm not going to confirm whether or not these things exist, I want you to think about something. If animals have sixth senses, for example, there are electrodes on the skins of sharks which allow them to detect very small vibrations in the water. Homing pigeons have the ability to detect the Earth's magnetic field and find their way back to specific locations over vast distances. Remarkable. If animals have developed a variety of six senses, then is it so strange to assume that perhaps human beings, the most advanced species on the planet that is officially recognized, is it so strange to assume that they themselves have evolved extrasensory perception, a sixth sense of sorts? No, I do not think it is strange at all. I think it is to be expected. So telepathy is the communication without spoken word via thought patterns. In theory, if thoughts give off energy, and you could somehow detect that energy with your own mind and translate it, then you could be able to communicate via thought. In theory, pyrokinesis. Could your brain have the ability to heat up atoms to the point of combustion? What about telekinesis, the ability to move things with your mind? Your mind. Is that possible? You know, the way I see it is this. If everything is vibration and in some way connected, is it in theory possible for the human brain to tap in to some kind of detection and control of other atoms? In theory, perhaps. The quantum world is a fascinating world. Things like quantum entanglement, one atom connecting with another over vast distances. Fascinating. What about being able to see the future? Well, I suppose in theory, if somehow your brain could detect and calculate a series of events at high speed, I suppose in theory you may be able to predict what's going to happen next. Although the quantum world tells us you never quite know where the electron is going to be. So there could be multiple options. Makes it difficult to ever quite know for sure. Follow compassion and follow the light. That is my advice. Extraterrestrials, the bulk of our operations. Well, a galaxy as vast as ours, I often think about how many different species are on our planet. Is the galaxy not similar? Is it not filled with life? We have turned up very late to the party, and as a result, I feel it is likely that we are probably being observed. My theory is that we are in a protected area, like a nature reserve. You see, we're always trying to predict things, aren't we? We're always trying to predict the weather. We always want more variables to input into the machine. So, once we've predicted the weather, we want to predict the behavior of the solar system and then the galaxy. And at some point, we're going to want to know where the next planets that will harbour life will form. This is understandable as we are curious and we like to know what's going to happen next before it's happened. Therefore, if we are this curious like the cat, is it not fair to assume that others before us have been just as curious? If they had reached this level of technology 1 billion years ago, then they would have foreseen life developing on Earth, and they would have come to see how it was going a long, long time ago. They would have known which star will explode and when, and as a result which planets will form and where, and whether those planets can harbour life and what kind of life it will be. So perhaps they saw us coming a long time before we arrived, and they're simply watching and waiting to see what we do next. It is just a theory, of course. Just a theory. Whilst I cannot talk about it, extraterrestrials are 80% of what we do. It's very complicated, you know. Think about all the different alliances and enemies that different countries have here on Earth. Over the years, those alliances have changed and moved. Countries have formed, empires have risen and fallen. Endlessly changing. Very complicated. It would take a long time to explain to anyone. Even the modern situation as it is today would take a long time to explain, wouldn't it? Or can you imagine how complex the wars and alliances have been over the years throughout the entire galaxy? And what about the universe? boggles the mind. The supernatural detectives, our main job is to navigate these complexities and to try to protect the planet and the human race, whilst looking out to the universe in awe. It's an exciting job. Never a dull moment, I can tell you. You'll be happy to know that I have healed you now. The curse has been lifted, and you are set free. Be sure to contact me if you ever need help again. Here, take my card, and remember, clandestine operations. But I am here for you. Goodbye for now. Goodbye.